YouTube, Shukun Shinobi here with a review of the Ressha Sentai ToQger ToQBuckle. So every year we get a little buckle toy, and it ranges from being pretty cool to being pretty crap. And this is more or less on the scale of being pretty crap. But that's not to say it doesn't serve a purpose, it just doesn't have a big purpose. So included with this is the buckle itself and the Shield Ressha, which is a pretty neat little Ressha, and we'll take a look at that once we're done looking at the buckle. So here is the strap, done up a little bit differently than we're used to with these buckle toys. It's just the two segments, they pin together right in the middle there, and then they pin together back here and stuff. So it's not really all that thrilling. It doesn't hold that big of a waist either compared to a lot of rider belts. But what can you do? Now this doesn't actually lend itself well to being a buckle itself, since you have to slide the belt through that. But it's something you could do if you wanted to, as long as your belt can fit through there. So yeah, not a whole lot going on here. To pop off the rainbow pass, you just flick this and pop it out. TQG in there, so you still retain the logo inside the buckle. So that's pretty neat. And now this can be inserted backwards as well. So if you didn't want the rainbow pass's front showing, you can flip it around the back. Now the back is very plain. It's just this empty little shell. I guess you could make your own sticker and put one in there if you wanted. Initially, there's a slot right here, and you can insert anything you want in here, really. For instance, here's like a Pokemon code card, and it would more or less slot in there if it was thinner. I don't really have anything else handy that would fit in here, but as you can see, it'll fit like a playing card width sort of thing, with some room to move. Basically, the point of this is for people in Japan, the children in Japan that buy this, can put their train passes in here and actually scan it like they do in the show. Since they take the rainbow pass, they scan it to the terminal and lets them board the Ressha. And that's basically a kind of neat gimmick, I think, for interaction between the show and reality. For the kids, this show's all about imagination, so they can kind of pretend they're boarding a Ressha when they're hopping on the train with their parents or whatever. So I kind of like it in that regard. It's a neat little imaginative sort of thing. Now, the only thing that kind of gets me is the fact that with this being hollowed out, I think it would have made a little bit more logical sense for the flap to be on the reverse side, so that you always have the ToQger logo here, but then on the reverse side, it could show your train pass or your subway pass or bus pass. Do buses have those kind of passes? I don't know. But anything, whatever you're putting in here, would be on the other side, so you could get both sides going. So that's, I think, my only major gripe with the gimmick, I guess you can call it, is that I think it would have made more sense to be on the opposite side. But I do like what they did, and again, imagination and stuff. So that's kind of neat. But it plays no sounds, there's no lights, no anything. We haven't had sounds in a buckle ever, if I remember correctly. So that's nothing really too new with these. This one just feels a little bit smaller and cheaper, but I think the price shows. I think it is cheaper. But the Rainbow Pass itself is kind of nice looking. Just for like display purposes, you have a very chrome, shiny sticker, the main 5 Ressha down here, the TQG. One thing worth noting is that it says 1975, 2014, 38. And I think that's more or less just supposed to be like a little serial number. But 1975 is when Sentai started, 2014 is what year it is now, and 38 is ToQger, the 38th Super Sentai. So I think that's a nice little way. They usually incorporate dates like this in a lot of the toys. So I think that's a kind of neat way to implement it. But that is all for the Rainbow Pass and the ToQBuckle. So now let's take a look at the included Shield Ressha. It's one of the smaller Reshas. It fits on the arm, so it's the standard size for the arm Ressha. And it's a cool little hunter green color. Forest green, whatever you want to call it. But it's painted up nice, it looks nice, and does open up to form the shield, but we'll get to that later. I like to kind of pretend it has a mouth and it can chomp things. Kind of like Carrigator, but anyway. So let's go ahead and check this out in the ToQChanger. So when you use it to transform, you're always Tokkyu Ichigo, because that's what it defaults to with these auxiliary Reshas. But your Tokkyu Ichigo Shield. So I don't know if he would change it to hunter green color and wield a shield. Wield a shield? That's a fun phrase. So I'm not really sure, since I'm not really sure if that implementation is going to be in the show or not. Who really knows? But it would be kind of cool to see the auxiliary Reshas give them some sort of extra weapons or abilities or something like that. So it can transfer just as you expect it would. So if we wanted to transfer him back to red, so it's now transferred from Shield to red. And obviously you can use the Summon Ressha feature. Hooray! Alright, so on ToQ-Oh, we are going to pop off the pink Ressha, pop in the Shield Ressha, which gives us a nice little change of pace on the colors, open up his flaps, and now he has the shield. Now that's a very thin shield. I don't know what that would guard against, really. But it's there, and it has yellow, blue, red, green, and pink on there to represent the main 5 ToQgers. So it serves its purpose. I kind of really dig it. It's a neat little function. I think it ends up looking a little bit better than the scope does on here. But overall, I think it's probably one of the more necessary auxiliary Reshas, just because the end product, I think, is really cool. So if it wasn't for the fact that it includes the Shield Ressha, I would say this is a very immediate pass, pardon the pun, for adult collectors. Not only does the ToQBuckle not really do anything, its pass feature more or less is really hit and miss in terms of functionality, I would say. But I think the kids of Japan will really get a kick out of this and will probably end up using it. And it's a fun little thing to have in your pocket if you're one of those people that like to carry around little gimmicks with you. Without actually bringing a Ressha along with you, it's a kind of neat little way to pretend you're a ToQger or whatever it is that you want to do with your life. So in that regard, it does serve its purpose. I just wish it was probably a little bit cheaper given the fact that it just doesn't do a whole lot. The included Shield Ressha is really cool, and currently it's unknown if or when it will come out in a Kanitora Gashapon feature, so if you want it right away, I suggest you buy the buckle. So thanks for watching, take care, and have a great one. Bye.